Have you ever stopped to think about school? Not about homework or exams, but the whole system itself. We spend over a decade of our lives in it. From the moment we learn to walk and talk, we're shuffled from kindergarten to elementary, middle and high school, following a set path. But why? Why this specific system? Why do we all just accept it? It's one of the biggest, most universal experiences we share, yet we rarely question its fundamental design. It feels like we're all part of a massive, silent agreement. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats and investigate this very question. What are the hidden forces and historical reasons that make the school system so universally accepted, almost without a second thought? This isn't about saying school is good or bad, it's about understanding the why. Let's start by looking for our first clue, and it takes us back in time, over 200 years ago. Our investigation begins in 18th century Prussia. This might seem like a random place to start, but what happened here laid the blueprint for modern education worldwide, after a crushing military defeat. Prussian leaders realized they needed a different kind of citizen, obedient, disciplined, and loyal to the state. Their solution, a mandatory public schooling system. The goal wasn't necessarily to create brilliant independent thinkers. It was to create efficient factory workers and reliable soldiers. The system was designed with bells to signal the start and end of periods, just like a factory shift. Students were grouped by age, not by ability, and sat in rows, passively receiving information from a single authority figure at the front of the room. This structure was brilliant for its purpose, to standardize people and make them predictable. Sound familiar? This model was so effective that it was adopted and adapted across Europe and eventually the United States. So our first major clue is that the system we inherited wasn't originally designed for individual creativity or personal discovery. It was designed for industrial-era efficiency and social order. Now, let's fast forward to today. The world has changed dramatically since the Industrial Revolution. We're in the age of information, of creativity, of AI. Yet the basic structure of our schools remains surprisingly similar. Bells still ring, we still group kids by age, and the curriculum is still largely standardized. This brings us to our second clue: social inertia and the power of that S, just how it's always been done. Think about it. Everyone you know went through a similar system. Your parents did, their parents did, and so on. It's so deeply embedded in our culture that imagining an alternative is incredibly difficult. It's the default setting for childhood. Questioning the school system feels like questioning the sky being blue. This deep-rooted tradition creates a powerful cycle. We go to school, we succeed or fail within its rules, and then we send our own kids into the exact same system, hoping they'll succeed too. It's a self-perpetuating loop. The system persists not necessarily because it's the best one, but because it's the one we all know. It's familiar and, in a way, comforting. Here's where the mystery deepens. The system isn't just held in place by history and tradition. There are very real, present-day forces at play. Let's call our third clue the Great Gatekeeper. What am I talking about? Colleges, universities, and the job market. From a young age, we're told that the path to a good life runs directly through school. Good grades get you into a good college, and a good college gets you a good job. The entire system is built around this progression. Your performance in school, your grades, your test scores, your GPA becomes a set of keys. These keys unlock doors to future opportunities. Because higher education and employers use school credentials as a primary filter, we have no choice but to play the game. You need that high school diploma. You need those standardized test scores. The school system effectively holds the keys to social and economic mobility. So, even if we see flaws in the system, stepping outside of it feels incredibly risky. It feels like throwing away your keys and locking yourself out of your own future. Now, I want to pause our investigation for a moment and turn the question over to you. Think about your own school experience. Was there a moment when you felt the system just didn't make sense? Maybe it was a class that felt pointless or a rule that seemed completely arbitrary. What part of the school system have you personally questioned, even if just to yourself? I'm genuinely curious to hear your stories. Drop a comment below and let's see what common threads emerge. Your personal experiences are vital pieces of evidence in this investigation. While you're thinking about that, let's get back to the case because there's another, more subtle clue we need to examine. Our fourth clue is psychological. It's about how the school system shapes our very definition of intelligence and success. From the first day of class, we are trained to seek external validation. We chase gold stars, A+, and honor roll certificates. We learn that the right answer is the one the teacher has, and intelligence is measured by how well you can recall that answer on a test. This creates a specific mindset. We become very good at following instructions and very anxious about making mistakes. Creativity, risk-taking, and questioning authority are often unintentionally discouraged because they don't fit neatly into a standardized grading rubric. Success becomes synonymous with academic achievement. If you're good at school, you're smart. If you struggle, you might be labeled not a good student, even if you have incredible talents in areas that school doesn't measure, like emotional intelligence, artistic ability, or entrepreneurial thinking. So, we accept the system because it has taught us to value the very things it's good at producing. It has defined the rules of the game and then convinced us that winning that game is the most important thing in the world. So, let's assemble all our clues. Clue number 1. The system's DNA comes from 19th century Prussia, designed for conformity and industrial needs, not individual growth. Clue number 2, social inertia. It's been done this way for so long that it has become an unquestionable tradition. Clue number 3, the gatekeeper effect. Schools hold the keys to college and careers, making it risky to opt out. And clue number 4, the psychological conditioning. School defines what smart and successful mean, and we learn to play by its rules to achieve that validation. When you put all these pieces together, you see a powerful, self-reinforcing structure. It's not a conspiracy. There isn't a secret group of people pulling the strings. It's a complex system that evolved over time, driven by historical needs, social convenience, and economic pressures. It's so big and so intertwined with every aspect of our society that it's become almost invisible, like the air we breathe. We accept it because we're born into it. We accept it because it's the path of least resistance. We accept it because it holds the perceived keys to our future. And we accept it because it has shaped our very ideas of what it means to be successful. The purpose of this investigation wasn't to tear down the school system. It's to turn on the lights. It's about empowering you with a new perspective, so you can navigate the system with awareness rather than just blind acceptance. Understanding the why behind the rules changes the game. You can begin to separate the game of school from the true journey of learning. You can learn to value your unique strengths, even if they aren't graded. You can start asking critical questions and seeking out knowledge for yourself, not just for a test. Real learning is a lifelong adventure, and your 12 years of formal schooling are just the first chapter, not the entire book. The world needs your unique creativity, your critical thinking, and your passion now more than ever. So the real question isn't just why we accept the school system. The more important question is, now that we understand it, what do we do with that knowledge? How can we make the most of it while also cultivating the parts of ourselves that school might overlook? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. Let's continue the discussion there. Thanks so much for joining me on this investigation. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the systems that shape our world. See you next time.